Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Wholesale Real Estate Investing Show. This is Paul Romero here on a Freedom Friday, Hawaiian Shirt Day, January 29th, 2016, on a beautiful Phoenix morning that looked like it was going to rain earlier, but now kind of clearing off. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting day. So here we are, Freedom Friday, end of another session, end of another month, July 29th. I mean, we're heading into the latter half, and you guys got to think about something. Come October, come October, Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas, people start checking out. Business slows down. It does. It slows down every year during those times. October is still good till you get into November. Then it starts to taper off. People start thinking about Thanksgiving and turkey and who's coming and where are we going and who's going to buy the bird and who's going to make the stuffing and all those sorts of things, and where are we going to go shopping on Black Friday and who's going to hang the Christmas lights, all those kinds of things. And then between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I mean, the focus is, people are, where are we going? How are we going to get there? Whose house are we going to be at? The Christmas, what are we going to get for Aunt Judy? All of those kinds of things. Like I said, people really start checking out, and their focus on getting business done, selling their properties or doing whatever, it tapers big time. So you really got to look at the fact that we got August, September, and October to make hay right now in a big way and get prepared for that, be positioned for that. So time's kind of getting short here. So I just wanted to throw that out there at you guys because a lot of people don't think about that this time of year. It's July, it's the middle of summer, things are going great, business as usual, it's picking up, whatever. And, we don't stop to think a little bit ahead at what's coming. And then all of a sudden we get to October, doing all the things that we've been doing. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, crap, look what's going on. So, something, just wanted to give you a little heads up. Like I said, maybe something that you don't want to hear right now, but, hey, it's probably a good idea to think about. So, yeah, let me tell you what don't you want to hear? Now, we do these shows. Obviously, any level of investor can come here and get some information about this, but primarily, I mean, our target audience here, the people that we really are the most value to, are those who aren't in it yet, or just starting in it, or just wanting to be in it, or maybe have been in it and just haven't been really getting any success yet. That's our target. That's our primary. Those are our primary people that we are here for. Okay. So today's information is definitely going to be geared more toward you guys than it is for the more seasoned folks who are actually, doing it, being successful, and all of that. Because, when I say, one thing that you don't want to hear is the fact that your chances of actually being successful at this and actually becoming a successful real estate investor are like 1 in 100. Well, you guys that are already doing it, you're already one of those 100. You're already one of those people that made it past the growing pain stages, so to speak. And that's the deal. There's a lot of growing pains in the beginning, and a lot of people just can't take it. It hurts too much, and they don't follow through with it. They don't commit to taking that pain and doing whatever it needs to be done to be successful at it. So, when I say that, if you're in that position, if you're in that startup position, that never done it, interested in it, want to do it, all gung-ho, ready to go, just started, wherever you are in those positions, like I said, the chances are pretty slim that you're actually going to come out the other end with everything that you want out of this. And why is that? Well, many of you have probably been to one of those guru events, one of the weekends at the hotel, et cetera, and so on. And you see, how many people are in the room, and they're obviously, they offer you, it's a It's a 2-hour event to start with that's free, you know, and then they offer you for a couple $100 to come out to a 3-day, you know, content stuffed event, right? And out of all those people in the room, how many actually pay the $200? You know, maybe about half. You know, maybe about half of the people in the room are willing to put up $200. The other half isn't ready. They're not willing to even invest $200 in themselves to get more information. You know, maybe some of them, you know, are smart enough to realize that either A, this is not for me. I don't feel like I'm going to get what I need out of this, and I'm going to go elsewhere for my information. Or B, that, you know what, from what I got here today, this whole real estate investing thing, forget it. You know, so some of them are smart enough to do that, but the majority of them that don't go and pay the $200 really just aren't ready. They're just not willing to make a commitment yet, even a $200 commitment. Now out of all those who pay the $200 and show up for the 3-day, when they're really pitching the high dollar educations, you know, how many of them actually make the commitment to themselves, you know, to get the further education to go on? And now I'm not pushing that's the way to do it. In fact, you know, if I was to push anything about that, I'd say it's really not the way to do it. It is the way that I did it. I didn't pay for the big educations, but I went to a number of free and $200 events, and, you know, plucking out the little gold nuggets that I could get, you know, getting a new piece here and a new piece there. And the main reason, though, that I kept going to those was just to keep reaffirming my drive and desire for what I wanted, and that was to be successful at this. At first, that's a really powerful thing. You've got to just find ways to keep fueling your fire, because if you don't keep fueling the fire, you know, it's eventually going to go out and you're going to be off onto something else, and this will never happen for you. So those are some of the main reasons right there why, you know, your chances of actually becoming the successful real estate investor and having the financial freedom and everything that you're dreaming about, you know, is quite likely to not happen for you. And I don't say this to discourage you guys. I'm not trying to discourage anybody with you, so don't get me wrong on that. I'm not trying to talk you out of becoming a real estate investor. I'm actually trying to talk you into it, and I'm trying to help you to actually realize what it's going to take for you to actually be successful, okay? And what it's going to take is, yes, you are going to need information about real estate investing, you know, the how-to stuff, how to do the wholesaling, how to do the buy and holds, how to do the fix and flips, how to do contracts, you know, how to figure out what rents are, how to estimate repairs, you know, how to write contracts, how to do an assignment, you know, all of these kinds of things. You are going to need some education in those areas. There's no question. I mean, you're not going to be able to have the courage, first of all, to jump out there and try and do anything if you don't feel like you have enough knowledge in your head to at least be able to get going with a couple of the steps. You know what I mean? So you've got to have some of that education. But the education that you need most, what you really need, is what most people really are not willing to commit to at all. And that is working on yourself. Because the thing is, we are not prepared in our lifetime through the education system, through, you know, our experiences, our environment that we grew up in, the people that we were exposed to our entire lives, you know, just basically everything about our entire life your entire life that got you to where you are today. None of that really prepared you to be a successful person, okay? In anything, real estate investing, you know, internet marketing, network marketing, you know, your job even. I mean, seriously, all of the stuff that we have up here never really prepared us to be a successful person, okay? Our entire lifetime, we have pretty much been, and now there's plenty of exceptions out there, and, you know, and most of the people that are already being successful in real estate investing have had some of this exposure to the other side that I'm talking about, to all of those, maybe they grew up in a family that had a home base, that ran their family business, and or a home based business, or they were entrepreneurial in creating a product and selling a product or something like that, and people were exposed to that sort of thing. Or maybe somewhere along the line they just started looking into it and got interested in it and figured out that some way somehow this is kind of the way to go, and somebody along the way took them by the hand and gave them some mentorship, things like that, some sort of step-by-step hand-holding how to, in actual doing. Those are the kinds of people that actually make it to the success. But for the rest of us that didn't have any of that, and there's a lot of us out there, and I know there's a lot of you watching right now that you're thinking, you know what, I really want this real estate investing thing, but you're right, I never had any of that. Nobody in my family ever had any entrepreneurial. In fact, nobody even ever went to college. Most of them didn't even finish high school. Whatever the case might be. But the fact that you can look at that right now and say, you know what, you're right. I've never had any exposure to that. What I like, what kind of opened my eyes to is kind of like the whole other side of this world. It's almost like we've been locked in this box of living in this world that's completely different from a world that operates outside that box. I guess that's where they get, thinking out of the box comes from, right? You want to get out of that box and think like those people out there, because they're the ones that are being successful. You see what I'm saying? So the whole idea of you having to work on yourself to improve your ability to become a person who is ready for success, who is able to see success, who is able to accept success, who is able to be successful. It all starts with you having to work on yourself. And like I said, that's what I'm here to tell you that you don't want to hear. But it's so true. It's so true. I know for a fact, from my own personal experience, that I was not a person who was built for success, who was trained for success, who was educated for success, who was programmed or conditioned for success at all. Not at all. And, at age 43, when I decided that, hey, something's wrong with this picture, I need to start looking into and doing something else, I had still not ever been exposed to that other side of the world. And I had no idea about what it took, but I was willing to go figure it out. And I started to go figure it out. And I figured at first that all I got to do is just find something that, looks like something that I can do, and just go do it. But the just go do it part in and of itself is hard enough. Making a commitment to actually going and doing it, that's what it really came down to. And I didn't commit to anything. I tried a number of different things, but I didn't commit to any of them. It wasn't until I actually did commit to one thing and stuck with it for an entire year without seeing any progress, or without seeing any profit whatsoever, until I finally actually did see a profit. Now, it was only maybe not even a tenth of what I had invested in, not only in my time. I mean, it would be way less, a 100th or even 1,000th of what I invested in my time, but it was only about a tenth of what I invested in cash, in actual cash. But it was enough. It was enough to keep me going. And I kept going for another year in it, and here again, without seeing any profit whatsoever. And I actually know that I was positioned for some profit, but that's when the crash hit, and it pretty much blew it out of the water. So, but I got committed to that, and I made a profit. You might think, you're an idiot. You put 2 years in. Oh, and by the way, the second year I probably invested as much as the first year. So overall, out of that whole thing, I made about 1/20th of what I invested back as a profit. So, and you, like I said, you might say, well, you're a freaking idiot, right? Hey, I was an idiot. I'll agree with you 100%. I was an idiot. I didn't know any better, but I was in something and I was committed to something and it was going somewhere. And unfortunately, like I said, the timing was wrong and it got blown out of the water. I know had that not, had it not been for that, if the world had continued on going the way it was going, as everybody thought, I mean, even not so much as it being, so explosive as it was in like 5, 6, and 7, but, even at a normal pace as it was, from 95 to 2002, say, even if the world had just continued on that way, that I would have made success out of that. But it was a life lesson, and it taught me that I could do it. That's what it taught me. It taught me that I could do it, and you know what? And it taught me that the only thing I have to really do to do it is just to commit, to go all in, basically. And I didn't really even go all in on that. Trust me, I was a wuss. If looking back at it, the effort that I put in was a wussy effort, big time wussy effort, but it was a continual wussy effort. It was a non-stop, didn't give up wussy effort that actually, turned out to grow from a, massively wussy effort to just a wussy effort. So I improved. And see, that's what it's all about, is growing and improving. So I made that step, and then when I got into this whole real estate thing, I worked at it for another, 3 years, from 2009, 10, and 11, again, with zero success. Zero success. So now I'm 5 years into this, 5 years into actually doing, because the first thing was real estate related as well, too. So I'm actually 5 years into, doing in this arena with virtually zero success. My investment now, now I'm looking at, my overall total compensation so far is now maybe about 1/50th of what I've invested, 1/40th, 1/30th. I don't know, a very, very little tiny piece of what I had actually invested, and like I said, especially time-wise, I mean, it was probably like 1/millionth of what I had invested. But it didn't stop me. Still kept going because I was committed. I wasn't going to stop this time. I was going to make it happen. And it wasn't until I actually came here to Phoenix to start doing wholesaling business that I found, actually I didn't find, the universe gave to me an opportunity to find out what the real problem was. And I didn't want to believe what the real problem was at first. Why? Because it was telling me that the real problem was me. And I was open to it because I kind of knew, I was a big freaking wuss and the problem was me. So, so I was open to it. And that's one thing where most people don't commit and follow through with their own personal development, their own personal growth, because they're unwilling to accept the fact that they themselves are a big freaking wuss, right? If you're not willing to accept that fact, you're not willing to put all the blame on yourself, because that's really what you have to do. I mean, there is no one else to blame. It's not the product, it's not the customers, it's not anything. It's not your family, it's not your friends, it's not anything but you. So until you're ready to admit that hey, my biggest problem, the biggest reason why I'm not having success is me, until you're ready to admit that, and take control of that and commit to changing that, you're never going to have any success. Sorry to tell you. I know that's not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. It is the honest to God truth. Because once I found out that I was right, that it was me, that everything that I had done in the past had every chance in the world to be successful if I was a person that was built for success. But I wasn't. So I was totally open to jump in and figure out what I was going to have to do in order to improve myself and change myself and turn myself into the kind of person who's built for success. So I had to go back to school. That's basically what I had to do. I had to go back to adult school of learning how to be a successful person. And I'll tell you what you need to know about yourself to be a successful person is probably nothing what you right now might be thinking that it is. I'm serious. It's absolutely mind-blowing what you don't know right now. Because the thing is right now, you don't even know what you don't know, so you can't even imagine what it is that you don't know, right? There's certain things that you don't know, right? Like you don't know how to fly a rocket to Mars, okay? You don't know how to do that. And you can imagine, but because you don't, because you know that you don't know how to do it, you can at least imagine yourself being able to do it. Does that make sense? So, if you didn't know that you couldn't fly a rocket to Mars, could you even imagine yourself flying a rocket to Mars? No, you couldn't, because you didn't even know that you couldn't even do it. So that's how this is. See, right now where you're at, you don't even know what you don't even know. So therefore, you can't even imagine what it is that you really need to know. I mean, that might sound like a ridiculous tongue twister or whatever there, like a circular play on words or something. But think about it. If you don't even know what you don't know about being successful, how can you even imagine what it would take for you to be that kind of person? You can't do it. So my suggestion, I'm not going to advise anybody, all right? I'd have to put an attorney disclaimer down here. My suggestion, if you want to be successful in wholesale real estate, or buy and hold real estate, or fix and flip real estate, or buying tax liens, or whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to be successful at it, and you're one of those people that was never exposed to successful life, to people living successful life, to people being entrepreneurial and running businesses and that sort of thing, and having successful lives, if you were never exposed to that, or even if your exposure was so limited that it just didn't sink in, you just never got it, or whatever the case might be, or nobody, and you never had anybody who took you by the hand and said, hey, look, let me show you, this is how it's done. You never got any kind of mentorship, or none of those things, right? But you want this. My suggestion is continue to want it. Continue to look at the education. Continue to go to those weekend seminars. Continue to go to whatever you can find real estate related, where you can sit down and be around people. Especially if you can be around people that are actually doing it. That's a whole lot better than people that are just teaching it. Okay, if you can be around people that are actually doing it, that's where you want to go put yourself. Place yourself in those positions so you can use that stuff to keep fueling your fire, right? You want to keep fueling that fire because you don't want it to go out. And I'll tell you what, a rainy day is coming, and that fire might almost try to get put out by unexpected things that you can't anticipate right now. So you got to make sure you got enough fuel in that fire that if it starts to rain, it's going to be able to stay, at least keep some coals smoldering down there, so you can get down there and blow on it a little bit, put some twigs on there and reignite it, okay? So while you're doing that, though, my suggestion is this. While you're doing that, look into self-development, personal development, okay? I will give you a suggestion right now. Number one thing is to go buy the book written by Napoleon Hill almost a century ago called Think and Grow Rich. Start with that. That will give you some ideas of that you don't know what you don't even know, or you don't even know what you don't know stuff, okay? And when you do this, do it with an open mind. If you catch yourself at any point in time while you're reading this book saying, well, that's kind of hokey, catch yourself. Say, wait a second. Okay, that sounds kind of hokey, but I don't know. I've never done it. I've never tried it. I have no idea. Maybe it is real. Maybe it does work. And you know what? I'm at least willing to give it a shot and see what happens, right? Keep an open mind. Don't shut yourself down to anything, all right? And when you make that commitment that I just made, that little commitment that I'm at least willing to give it a try, give it a real try, okay? Don't just do it once. Oh, well, that didn't, nothing happened. I guess it doesn't work. That's bull, Give it a real try, Don't just do it for a week. Don't just do it for, a whole day. Don't just do it for a month, Give it some time. Give it 3 to 6 months, okay? You got to understand, you're changing a lifetime of thinking. You're changing a lifetime of experience. You're taking a lifetime of being exposed to the environment that you've been exposed to inside that box. You're now talking about having to completely transform all of that into what the people on the outside of the box do. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And it takes repetition. You got to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because if you just do it a couple of times, it goes around and it starts to make that groove, but then it fades away. And if you only got a little tiny groove, you're going to fall right back into the big groove. That's what being in a rut is, right? So with that, guys, if you're here in Phoenix, Arizona, I want to throw out here that there is a group of people that are doing real estate, that are inviting anyone and everyone to come out and, hey, spend a little time with us. See what we're doing. Hear about how we're doing this deal on this property that you're inside of right now. See how, we got the deal. See how we structured the deal. See how we, figured out the deal. See how we, all these different types of things, right? You can come see all this stuff. You can get that exposure. You can stoke that fire by coming out to these property tours, all right? So if you're interested in potentially going to one of our property tours, now this is here in Phoenix, Arizona area. So if you're out of town, you're more than welcome to come flying in. but we're not doing them in your town right now. Sorry for that, but maybe you could be the one doing them in your town. So, but if you are here in Phoenix, Arizona, and you are interested in wholesale real estate or real estate investing of any kind, I invite you to shoot me an email. Oh shoot, you know what? I never put my dealio up. But shoot me an email to propertynoodlers, propertynoodlers@gmail.com. Okay, so and I'll let you know where the event's being taking place this weekend, and you can come check it out. All right, get a little exposure, fuel your fire, grab up a few gold nuggets of knowledge to add to your toolbox so that you can start preparing yourself to be ready for your real estate investing success. And there you go. There's the Gmail address right there, propertynoodlers@gmail.com. Shoot me an email and I'll give you the I'll give you the address so that you can come out and check it out, hang out with some actual real investors that are actually doing deals. You can actually pick some brains, get some information, all that sort of stuff. Who knows? Maybe you might find a mentor who's willing to say, you know what, hey, I can show you some things. Who knows? I'm just saying, no guarantees. I don't know what's going to happen there, right? But give yourself that chance. Expose yourself. And go buy the book. And I can give you a whole bunch of other books too. Just ask me. Seriously, off the top of my head, I would suggest probably 6 books on personal development. That if you did nothing else but read these 6 books over and over and over again, you'll become a successful person. All right? So, hey, listen, everybody, that's the show for today. I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but it's what you needed to hear. All right? If you really want to be successful at this, you need to start with yourself, preparing yourself to be a successful person. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you do. You can get involved with the most no-brainer kind of a possibility here, and you probably wouldn't have any success at it. Oh, and by the way, I have one of those no-brainer opportunities because I'm a guy who's interested in multiple streams of income, especially multiple streams of passive income. Money that I got coming in that I didn't even do anything for, or I did very, very little for, or I did something a whole bunch a while ago and it's still coming in. Yeah, that's the kind of money I like. And I have a no-brainer opportunity in that arena. So if you're interested in something like that, propertynoodlers@gmail.com. Also, I'd be more than happy to show you what that's all about. And trust me when I tell you, it's a no-brainer. No-brainer so much that even if you're not ready for success, if you're not, built to be a successful person, you could probably be successful at this. It's that freaking no-brainer. All right. So anyway, everybody, property tour. You want to know information about it? propertynoodlers@gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll hook you up. No-brainer opportunity with a very, very limited time frame to get involved with this one if you like. propertynoodlers@gmail.com. Hit me up. Other than that, as we always end with the Napoleon Hill prayer. Oh, wait, Napoleon Hill prayer. And what was the book I recommended? Think and Grow Rich by who? Napoleon Hill? What's going on here? Why is he telling this prayer by Napoleon Hill and now he's telling me to read a book by Napoleon Hill? Think maybe I believe in Napoleon Hill a little bit? You're darn right. Think maybe Napoleon Hill had a big influence on me actually becoming a successful person? Yeah, I wouldn't be recommending the book if it didn't. All right. Oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth. Given to me at birth that I wasted, didn't do anything with for 43 years, 50 years, until I figured out. Consisting of the ability to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. Everybody make it a great celebration, pinnacle, whatever you want to call it, the next 2 days. Have a great time. Be successful. Go buy the book. Shoot me an email, and we'll see you back here on New Options.